Morning, everyone. I'm Peter Dennis, and this is Perfect Republic. Perfect Republic Unscripted, as you will, since we're doing this live. It is Monday, January 20th, 2025. In just under 2 hours, Donald Trump is going to become President of the United States again. The other day, I recorded a video called The Great American Paradox, where I talked about Judge Merchan's decision to unconditionally discharge Mr. Trump, and talked about how that was a reasonable decision, all things considered. To many Americans, myself included, I think it's fair to say that it does feel like an abdication of justice, but at the same time, we live in a democracy, and it's important to recognize that he did win the 2024 election, and there's a long-standing Department of Justice policy that says that a sitting president cannot be indicted. That policy exists for a reason. Be fairly difficult, not to mention embarrassing, to have Donald Trump try to fulfill the roles of the presidency of the United States of America from behind bars. And I stand by that position. Now, that said, I wanted to record this video this morning because in the past few days, since making that video, I've read Volume 1 of Jack Smith's report. Jack Smith was the special counsel that was appointed to investigate Donald Trump after what happened on January 6th, 2021. And the conclusions that he comes to in that report they're staggering and they're disturbing. Basically what it says is that if not for winning the 2024 election, Donald Trump would have, probably should have, been indicted and prosecuted, and that the strength of the case against him on numerous counts was so great that it almost certainly would have held up in court. And that's particularly disturbing because for those of you who weren't maybe yet of age or hadn't come to America or just weren't plugged into the news, what happened on January 6th, 2021 was one of the saddest days in recent American history. Donald Trump encouraged his supporters at a speech at the Ellipse to go down to Congress and protest what was going on there. And what was going on there was the counting of electoral votes. And his supporters stormed Congress. They injured hundreds of police officers. There was one woman who was killed. And ultimately, the event resulted, I believe, in 5 deaths when you include suicides. And it was just one of the saddest days in my life as an American to witness something like that, because part of our country's traditions, one of the things we do is we have this peaceful transfer of power from one administration to the next. Oh my God, it is so cold out here. Whew. The things we do for a nice backdrop. It was one of the saddest days of my life as an American. And to see Americans overrun Congress and assault police officers and beat them down, much less beat them with American flags. That's the thing that was disturbing to me, pretty much more than anything else, was the use of American flags as weapons. But that said, there was a lot about that day that was disappointing and disgusting. Donald Trump supporters, they threw their feces around the hallowed halls of our Congress. And look, I get having political disagreements. That's actually part of the American tradition, is having this back and forth and not always agreeing, but finding ways to compromise and come together. But, no matter the level of disagreement I've ever had with anyone, it would not occur to me to play finger paints with poo-poo on the halls of Congress. Like, that's just not something that you do. But that's what his supporters did. And, he called it a day of love Anyhow, so that's the man that's being sworn in as president today. I could go into a much more long-winded rant about this, but I just want to say, if you want to understand what this moment in American history is, there are a few things that you need to sit down and read. The first is the Mueller report. The second is the transcript from the first impeachment of Donald Trump. The third is the transcript from the second impeachment of Donald Trump. The fourth is Jack Smith's report. Now, right now, only Volume 1 is out. Volume 2 is still classified. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day, because once Donald Trump is sworn in, it is very likely that that report will disappear forever. But it's important that people read this to understand who this man is and the things that he's done. That said, I still say that we proceed with hope. You know, Donald Trump's been given an exceptional and very rare opportunity here to turn over a new leaf, to have a fresh start, and to unite our country and lead in a positive way. Whether he will or he won't, you know, that's still to be seen. During his first term, he really drank from the cup of partisanship pretty hard. But this time around, he doesn't have to worry about re-election. And so hopefully he will understand that this is an opportunity to not have to play sides and instead be the peacemaker and the uniter, and to unify this country. And if he does that, he could go down as one of the greatest presidents in American history. You know, he needs to stand up for policies that are sustainable, stand up for peace, not abandon our allies in the process, and be an advocate for freedom, both at home and abroad. And if he can do that, he might end up being a great president the second time around. But we'll just have to wait, see what happens. This is Peter Dennis. Let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. I'll see you out there.